This meeting constitutes the first direct high-level contact between the parties since March 2022. We must seize this opportunity to move forward on the path to peace. Every day that is lost leads to more lives being lost. Distinguished guests, as the war continues to claim lives, it is of critical importance to implement a ceasefire as soon as possible. We also have an opportunity before us to achieve a ceasefire simultaneously with the negotiations.
As Russian and Ukrainian negotiators met face-to-face in Istanbul for the first time in over 3 years for peace talks, Turkey issued a shocking remark. At the Russia-Ukraine talks on May 16th, Turkey said it was critical to achieve a ceasefire without further delay. The talks were held at Istanbul's Dolmabahce Palace, with Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan hosting both sides. Fidan told the delegations they stood at a crossroads. One path leads to peace, the other to more destruction and death. Half of the Ukrainian delegation wore military fatigues, facing Russian officials dressed in suits. Fidan said he was encouraged by the willingness of both sides to open a new window of opportunity. He added that these talks should lay the groundwork for a possible leaders' summit between Putin and Zelensky.
Let me begin by welcoming you all to Istanbul on the occasion of the resumption of negotiations, between Ukraine and Russia. This meeting constitutes the first direct high-level contact between the parties since March 2022. We must seize this opportunity to move forward on the path to peace. Every day that is lost leads to more lives being lost. Distinguished guests, as the war continues to claim lives, it is of critical importance to implement a ceasefire as soon as possible. We also have an opportunity before us to achieve a ceasefire simultaneously with the negotiations. I would especially like to emphasize one point here. From this point forward, we will determine the next phase, together based on the choices we make and the steps we take. It is also highly important that these talks lay the groundwork for a leaders' summit.
The last time the two sides met in person was in March 2022, just weeks after Russia's full-scale invasion began. The head of Ukraine's delegation, setting out Kiev's priorities, said peace was only possible if Russia agreed to a 30-day ceasefire, the return of abducted Ukrainian children, and an exchange of all prisoners of war. While Russia said it is open to a ceasefire, but warned Ukraine could use the pause to regroup and rearm. Moscow shared a list of concerns, fearing Ukraine would take advantage of any pause to secure more Western weapons. Kiev and its allies accuse Russia of stalling and say Putin has no genuine intention to end the war. Earlier on May 15th, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said he did not expect meaningful progress from the talks. Rubio said the low-level Russian delegation sent to Istanbul showed the Kremlin wasn't serious about peace.
And frankly, at this point, I think it's abundantly clear that the only way we're going to have a breakthrough here is between President Trump and President Putin. It's going to require that level of engagement to have a breakthrough in this matter. I don't think anything productive is actually going to happen from this point forward until they engage in a very frank and direct conversation, which I know President Trump is willing to do. Well, the president is impatient to end this war. He's impatient, as he's been clearly said, that something needs to happen soon. Too many people are dying. There's too much destruction. And I think he's ready to have that engagement and determine once and for all if there's a path forward and what that path is. And it's my assessment that I don't think we're going to have a breakthrough here until the president and President Putin interact directly on this topic. Well, we haven't been chasing this around the world anymore. I mean, that's already happened. We came because we were told that I was going to be here anyways, obviously, but we came because we were told that there might be a direct engagement between the Russians and the Ukrainians. That was originally the plan. You all heard the same thing. That was not to be the case, or if it is, it's not at the levels we had hoped it would be at. But I frankly do not believe that we're going to have a breakthrough here until President Trump sits face to face with President Putin and determines what his intentions are moving forward. What I can say with certainty is that the president's, look, he's willing to stick with us as long as it takes to achieve peace. What we cannot do, however, is continue to fly all over the world and engage in meetings that are not going to be productive. Again, I was scheduled to be here anyways because of the NATO summit, and so it just wound up working out that way. But the only way we're going to have a breakthrough here is with President Trump sitting face-to-face with President Putin and determining once and for all whether there's a path to peace, and if so, what it is.
Expectations for a breakthrough fell further when Trump said no progress would come without him meeting Putin.
I'm so busy. We're landing just about now. This has been an amazing trip. We've raised trillions of dollars of investment for our country. And we're dealing with really good people that have been abandoned in a way by our country and by the United States. And we're not going to abandon. We have very good friends in Saudi Arabia and in Qatar. So now we're going to UAE. We're going to be landing shortly. And we have another really good situation there. But they felt abandoned. They were going to be captured by China from the standpoint of trade. And that's not going to happen anymore. We have a very good relationship, as you probably all saw. Jennifer, I'm sure that you saw that last night. I shook more hands than any human being is capable of doing. That was a long deal. And they were big people. But they were starving for love because our country didn't give them love. They gave them a fist bump. Remember the fist bump in Saudi Arabia? He travels all the way to Saudi Arabia in that case, and he gives them a fist bump. That's not what they want. They don't want a fist bump. They want to shake his hand. So we had a great. You saw the Boeing order was 160 jets. It's the biggest order in the history, I think, of aviation, certainly of that size. They're all 787s and 777s. Those are the big ones. We really had a good time. Let me just see, where are we? We're about ready to land. So we, very special, very special.
Mr. President, are you disappointed in the level of the delegation that the Russians sent to Turkey?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not disappointed in anything. Who are you from?
BBC News.
I'm not disappointed. What would I be disappointed? We just took in $4 trillion, and he says, are you disappointed about a delegation? I know nothing about a delegation. I haven't even checked. Look, nothing's going to happen until Putin and I get together, okay? And obviously he wasn't going to go. He was going to go, but he thought I was going to go. He wasn't going if I wasn't there. And I don't believe anything's going to happen, whether you like it or not, until he and I get together. But we're going to have to get it solved because too many people are dying. Thank you. You're going to land right now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.